because all they care about is them Cowboys. How about them Cowboys? What's about them Cowboys? They lost yesterday. The heck with all this economy stuff. The Cowboys lost to the Redskins of all places. However, you know what happened else that was good? The Eagles lost, too.
Hold on. You mean the Cowboys lost to the Redskins?
All is
Get
not
a rope, Junior.
The Eagles lost, though, so all is not lost.
I'm just glad I got George W. Bush. I like the way things is running. Anyways, I had a caller yesterday said that he wanted to come down to the studio and arrest Webster Tarpley because he was criticizing Lord Obama.
You make the show possible.
God bless you. Oh, what does Tiny Tim say at the end of the Christmas story? God bless you, everyone.
Yes. Every one of us.
But that doesn't exist. Christmas doesn't exist. You're making it up. If you see a bird hopping around in a tree, it doesn't exist. Nothing exists but what the government says, John.
Yes.
If the government tells you you don't exist, you don't exist. You understand?
I don't. They know.
And if I tell you 2 + 2 = 97, it does, or you're with Al Qaeda, boy.
That's right.
That's my whole point. Is that the new order?
You better. Well, yeah, but don't burn them. Just go buy toilet paper with them.
United Nations with the
United Nations toilet paper. It's on sale. You ought to get some. Yeah, it works.
But the UN doesn't exist, Bob.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
Well, I have people telling me that the European Union doesn't exist, and they're serious. Did you know it's still called a conspiracy theory to say that exists?
Well, look, you know as well as I do that 70% of the population of the United States is a bunch of idiots. You know that. And you'll never wake them up because all they care about is them Cowboys. How about them Cowboys? What's about them Cowboys? They lost yesterday. The heck with all this economy stuff. The Cowboys lost to the Redskins of all places. However, you know what happened else that was good? The Eagles lost, too.
Hold on. You mean the Cowboys lost to the Redskins?
All is
Get
not
a rope, Junior.
The Eagles lost, though, so all is not lost.
I'm just glad I got George W. Bush. I like the way things is running. Anyways, I had a caller yesterday said that he wanted to come down to the studio and arrest Webster Tarpley because he was criticizing Lord Obama.
He doesn't get it, does he?
All right, I'm going to start taking phone calls. This is descended into total insanity. Bob is the one acting crazy. All right, anyways. I love doing hillbillies. You know why? Because I'm hillbilly, so I can do it.
You did something years ago on my show, which you ought to bring back. It was
What's going on? Yeah, we're still on there.
You had some guy named Professor Anselmo that you did. You did this little thing for this Lord riding along, looking at all the peons. It was
Look at the pathetic rabble.
Yeah, the rabble. That was some funny stuff.
You see, this is the hillbilly look. Hold on. I have to get the mindset. It's hard to switch back and forth between characters. And we don't take all the rights, Al Qaeda will get the rights. You know, or kind of a. But then there's also let me do the elitist. Of course we've got to eliminate 90% of the rabble. Why do you think we poison the water? It's immediately needed.
Yep, that's that. Yeah, that's the elitist. Yeah. You
know, I went to the gym yesterday to lift weights, and yesterday afternoon was the morning actually, and I just watched the men, and I work out at kind of a old folks gyms. You know, there's some young people.
Well, you know, you're getting older now.
Well, no, I don't work out at a meat market. Okay, because I just don't like the distractions. You know, it's just too many guys walking around going, oh boy, just looking for a problem. You know, puffed up.
You like to be the only one doing that and intimidate all the old guys.
Exactly.
Right?
No. Now you got it straight. No, seriously. I was watching the old guys do it. Everybody's posing and looking, and I'm just trying to ignore it and work out. But I just thought about these guys all act so tough. Everybody's so into their image, and nobody's going to screw them, and they're badass and all this. And you know, like men will like walk around a corner and you're trying to walk somewhere, and then when you try to get out of their way, they kind of go. I mean, it's really freaking weird. Anyways, the point is that, but they cower to cops. They cower to having their rights violated. They cower to bankers robbing them and stealing them blind. A real man gets really mad about being a slave and his children being slaves and corrupt elites. And then somehow we've been taught, oh, we're going back live. Here we go. We're going live. Here we go. I was telling the story, then we're going to your phone calls, part of Insane Asylum Day here on the radio with Bob Dacey. he's been really out of control today, Bob, and I don't appreciate it. And you need to learn to settle down on air a little bit.
You know, you're going to be with those yuppies one of these days, boy. You're going to be on the street corner holding up a sign that says, "We'll work for latte."
Exactly.
You know, or maybe dreaming of the ultimate espresso.
But Bob, you really should settle down today. This has been kind of a I've never seen you act like this.
You're going to be sitting there with a shopping cart next to you with a sign that says, "My other car was a Mercedes." That's going to.
You know, people tell me that I shouldn't be so serious. Let me tell you the truth. I'm having trouble being serious all the time. I am sick of the New World Order, aren't you, Bob?
Yeah, but you know what? It's kind of fun fighting them, you know. I don't have any trouble sleeping at night. I really don't.
But see, you're a real man. I'm not, and you're not a macho guy. You're not a guy that gets into being a tough guy. But you know, your whole family, military folks, cops, people like that. And you know, you're people that really do love America. So as a real patriot, you're actually fighting the New World Order. Not all these fake conservatives that, like I was talking about during the break, they go to the gym and they walk around looking at everybody and acting tough and swaggering. But if somebody's violating their rights, they literally start peeing down the side of their leg. If somebody pushes them around, if the IRS does something, they crap their pants. And they live this life of cowardice to government, and they rationalize that the government isn't corrupt, and the government isn't bad, and they cower in fear of what their neighbors would think if they were to come out and fight the New World Order. And we need you to be real men out there and real women and just stop being so stupid and stop. I mean, you know, these good old boys will get mad if their neighbor parks in their parking space. But they could care less if somebody's putting sodium fluoride that eats holes in their brains in their water. I mean,
you know what I find out about you, Alex? I'm going to tell you something about you. You know, I get all these comments about, you know, I'm on TV in Austin and all. They talk about, oh, Alex Jones, you know Alex Jones. And a lot of people love to criticize you because of how bombastic you are or whatever. You know, and you know what I tell them? I say, I'm going to tell you what's wrong with Alex Jones. I'll tell you, because I know the guy. What's wrong with Alex Jones is he knows more than you do. And that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's your problem. You know too much.
Well, you've been around long enough to know my story. You know, I saw when my dad came back one day from the IRS, he gets me talking about it, and he said, I've always paid. I have a CPA. And they sat across the table from him in Dallas, and they said, we're white-collar criminals. We're going to take everything you have. You know, and they laughed at him. And I remember seeing my dad when I was, you know, like 12 years old, talk about that at the dinner table, and I knew he was straight-laced. He stopped and changed tires to where me and my mother would say, please don't stop. He stopped at every car. You know, I mean, really goody two-shoes, but also smart, nice guy. And I watched him get pushed around, cheated, things like that. Then my grandparents, you know, they didn't even own this creek behind their house, but the city gave them $2,000 a day fines. While I was covering him doing this to other old people, my grandpa went back there, cleaned it out, had a heart attack, and it basically later killed him. And so that's the kind of thing, I mean, you know, in America, you're not supposed to have some bastard from the city making your grandparents clean out city property so they can try to steal their house. Or you're not supposed to, I remember going to ranchers and farmers' houses after I got on air when the city was stealing it for environmental reasons, giggling and laughing that they were going to sell it all to developers later. And they wouldn't pay, and I mean, that pissed me off. And I'm not a good guy. I'm a normal person. As a man, when criminals are robbing people of their land, that pisses me off, Bob.
And well, it should. And there needs to be more.
But people always thank me. I don't need to be thanked. I mean, aren't we supposed to be mad about being screwed?
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
I got news for anybody that's, you know, on the fringe of whether they want to get involved in fighting the New World Order or not. You know, I've been doing this now for fighting the New World Order for 10 years, and my response, and I've gotten I have some national following now, and I've got a lot of local following. My response to that is, in my own personal experience, I would say 99.5% of my direct responses from people have been positive. And that little 0.5% that's negative is coming from guys that are supposed to be on our side that just disagree with our methodology.
Well, no, they like to bitch. They're in this to be studs and to be leaders.
Yeah.
And they get sick of hearing, you know, Alex Jones' name. Hey, folks, I'm not Bernanke taking your money. Yeah. And that's what's wrong about this is we're a nation of second-guessers. And it's fine to second-guess if you're on the field. But they're sitting up in the peanut gallery bitching and complaining, and they haven't walked a mile or 100 miles or 1,000 miles in our shoes, Bob.
Another one. Here's another one, Alex. You know, you're just a guy. You know, I mean, you know, you're just a guy. Jason Burmis has been down here for several months working on his film down here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. He's got the #1 film in the history of the Internet, Loose Change, second edition. He comes up with another one, Loose Change Final Cut. He's down here in your area, here in Austin, for several months. He was on our show, Simple Truth, locally here 3 times. And guess what? Jason Burmis is just a guy. Just a nice guy. That's all. He's not pretentious. He's just a nice guy. And that's who we are.
And he's not borderline insane like me, so that's good.
Yeah, well, he's not as bombastic as you are, but he's just a nice guy. The people that we work with in this movement, by and large, are just people, just regular folks.
Well, and I want to point that out, and I want to point out to those that detract, who claim they're in our movement. A lot of them are feds, but a lot of them are just, they're the damaged goods of America, and so they woke up, but they still can't shed the things they do and the way they operate. But that's okay. We have to ignore those people, not spend our time on